Good morning, everyone. Happy to see so many of you in the room. So I'm here, I'm representing IDH, and we are very happy to have come so far in our cooperation with KAM. IDH is a Dutch organization. We were founded by a parliamentarian initiative where Dutch parliamentarians felt that, we are a little bit scared. What are our Dutch companies doing out there in the world? It turned out that it was a lot of other companies and a lot of other partners that were also interested in sustainability and knowing what happens in global supply chains. So in 15 years, the organization has grown from a 20-person team sitting in the Netherlands to a more than 300 people team in 14 different countries. The Kenya team has been around for about 12 years or so, but we have until now only worked in agri-sectors. We have worked very, very closely with KTDA, we work in the coffee sector, we work in agriculture mainly, and this is the first step that we are taking into working in an industrialized sector. And personally, I'm very happy for that, because having been many, many years in Kenya, working a lot with integration of smallholder farmers, I also see a great need for Kenya to create jobs outside of the agri sector. So this is a great personal step for me as well to be part of the development from something different. So IDH, we say that we are here to transform our markets. We are doing that for people, for the planet, and for progress. So this program that we have co-created together with KAM really speaks to all of them. We want to create better jobs for the workers, better opportunities for the workers. We want to make sure that the industry here can take advantage of new technology for better environmental practices, for resource efficiency, for energy use, etc. And we wanted to bring progress to Kenya. This is a program where we are really looking to see how we can develop Kenya as an export destination, and for the destination of, or for the sourcing destination of choice for global players. We are using, as IDH, we are using the power of trade to create this. So we are working on better jobs, better incomes, and better environment, and we also want to look at women, and that we can have equality across, or opportunity for all. And it's hard to see a sector other than textile and apparel that can really help us drive all those. So it's really interesting for us to be in this space. IDH is not an implementer. We are not really a funder either. We are a convener. We try to bring people together for a common good. We work with corporates, and we work with smaller businesses, we work with governments, we work with financial institutions, and we try to bring everyone to the same table so that people can start talking to each other pre-competitively and come with joint solutions to joint problems. So we are happy to see that we have so many of you here, and we have representatives from a large number of those different subsectors. IDH has long history working in the textile and apparel industry, not here, but we have done lots of work in India, we have worked in Vietnam, we work in Bangladesh, in Cambodia. And the work in Africa started a few years ago with a program in Ethiopia, and now we are following suit here in Kenya. So we, as IDH, we are hoping that we can also leverage the brand connections we have, learnings that we have done from work in other countries on how to convene and how to get the right players at the table to push this agenda. Because as I mentioned to some of you this morning, it's a joint responsibility. The responsibility for sustainability, the implementation of it, yes, it lies with us here in Kenya, but the responsibility to have a sustainable supply chain, everyone in the supply chain needs to have a role and needs to take their responsibility. So we really want to collaborate with all of you to build an inclusive and a sustainable textile and apparel supply chain. And as some of you have mentioned already, the end goal is to look at it from fiber to finished product. But we are starting at sort of the apparel part here in Kenya at the moment. We are not yet engaged in cotton or any other things. So we are working under a program that we call InStep, in Sustainable Textile and Textile Parks, where we're working on environmental and socially effective and efficient and sustainable industrial parks and production. So we are looking for improved sector governance, where we are all working together to provide a better enabling environment. We also work with individual businesses to improve their best practice and their business practices, and we are looking at doing smaller interventions at the field level to prove what can work, so that we also want to be able to provide opportunities for peer-to-peer learning. Someone can maybe invest in a new type of water cleaning system or something, and how can they share what they have learned from that with others. So why all this talk about sustainability? Is it not just expensive, difficult, etc.? We don't believe so. We believe sustainability is here to stay. Sustainability, corporate social responsibility, ESG requirements, they are no longer something that is a plus to have. They are a necessity for you to be part of the business. The requirements from global buyers nowadays, they keep going up. And why are they going up? Because consumers are more and more interested. I think we are getting there also here in Kenya. We might not be at the level of what I am Swedish by nationality myself. Swedes are asking all kinds of questions to the consumer goods that they buy. They need to be in the right kind of packaging. They need to be developed with very little carbon footprint. How much water was used to produce my jeans? How much can I save if I buy something secondhand? So that's part of the consumer's mind when they go to the shop to buy something. And that's something that we need to try and see, how can we turn that to our advantage? There's also pressure coming from market players. I'm sure those of you who are in business and are exporting, you feel it from your buyers. They ask you all kinds of questions. But governments are also taking it on. So the EU, for example, are working on what they call an EU due diligence regulation, where countries in the EU basically have to create laws that will require their producers or their companies to look at human rights and environmental sustainability in their supply chains, which means that the buyer will be responsible for the social well-being of workers in Kenya. And it will be very interesting to see how legally that will bind companies and what action they will take. And as you all are Kenyan here, you have seen that there are some companies in the agri sector that have already faced some issues with litigation in Europe over human rights violations and worker issues. So it's going to be something that is again going to be more and more demanded, and we are hoping that with this support and this collaboration with KAM, that we can be prepared when it comes. So instead of having a reactive position to a due diligence requirement, that we can be ready when it's there. So this program for us, it's really like a call to action to all of you. The Kenyan textile and apparel industry, it needs to develop and to be in a forward-looking. We need to look at the horizon. What business models do we need to have to be competitive and sustainable for the future? we have this brilliant opportunity, as Mr. Berdy had said, the market access is there, there's a lot, but how can we make sure that we develop our industry and don't take the wrong turns that some of the countries in Southeast Asia did to grow quickly? How can we make sure that in our growth we do it sustainably, both for the environment and socially, and for our country? This will require appropriate legislation, sector coordination, technology, innovation, and adaptation to changing manufacturer and worker behavior. We need to share knowledge, and we need to create capacity building programs, and we need to make sure that we understand and adhere to global environmental and social standards. So in collaboration with the public and the private sector and programs like our own INSTEP program and other programs, we aim to support the socially and environmentally effective and efficient sustainable industrial parks for better production in Kenya, to create the better jobs and the better environment for all that I was talking about. Through this particular program, Sustainability for Competitiveness, we hope to encourage a multi-stakeholder collaboration and a collaborative effort to identify and address the sector opportunities and, of course, the challenges to establish Kenya as a responsible sourcing destination. We envision that through this project and programs, sustainability in Kenya's textile and apparel industry can make it more competitive by meeting the demands of the global consumer, by saving on cost, because some of the challenges to establish Kenya as a responsible sourcing destination. Okay. We envision that through this project and program, sustainability in Kenya's textile and apparel industry is more competitive by meeting the demands of the global consumer, by saving on cost, because saving on cost, because implementation of some of these practices can actually reduce waste, and it can therefore reduce cost. If we can reduce waste, we can increase efficiency and decrease the use of resources, and therefore there can also be a good business case in it. We are also trying to see how we can improve our reputation and the image of Kenya, because as you know, it requires one bad apple or maybe one bad mango in the basket for all of them to get spoiled. So we all need to make sure that we are all together so that we can promote the Made in Kenya brand. And we also hope that this kind of program and this uplifting of the image can also provide better access to market and better access to funding. Because we believe that companies that are leaders in sustainability, they can also benefit from government incentives and subsidies, but they can also possibly have access to other funding streams and to other markets. And we also think that it can lead to long-term resilience. If we are a sustainable industry, this means that we can become more resilient, we can be more adaptable. The markets keep changing, but with a strong foundation to stand on, we can be more agile and find new opportunities in new markets. And we will be meeting the requirements of the different markets that are available. So overall, sustainability, we believe, can make textile and apparel industry in Kenya more competitive by meeting the consumer demands, reducing the costs, improving our reputation and image, opening new markets and opportunities, and becoming more resilient in the long term. So, in closing, we as IDH, and I personally, we are very happy, as I said in the beginning, to be launching this program today. I want to give appreciation to KAM and its team and its member, because it's been hugely valuable for us to work with them and for them to share their insights in how we can actually do sustainability competitively in Kenya. I also want to thank the government of Kenya for being represented, the ministry, the departments and agencies, for their renewed interest in this sector and supporting this initiative. And we have a number of representatives from the central government itself, but also from agencies. And we are really hoping that together we can achieve sustainability for competitiveness for Kenya. Thank you very much.